So there comes this point, right, where we have to trust in this support that it will be there for us when we really focus our attention on the things we love and we allow ourselves to receive support in the other ways. We've all come here with a divine purpose, traveling on a stream of cosmic dust from the stars into our mother's wombs, born into this precious life. It is no accident that you are here, my love, on earth, in this moment, in this body. You are here longing to find your place, to align with your purpose, to embody your passions and to live into the dreams of your heart. Yet so often we get caught, suspended in the tangle of life, not able to move forward, not able to find solace and comfort in a world that has forgotten the truth of our existence. As we begin to remember, as we peel back the layers, as we come together to uncover our unique gifts and reconnect with our authentic selves, we are able to see another way of being, a new possibility, a different life waiting to be lived. I have experienced on this complicated and wild journey of life that when we connect with the story of our soul, it will show us the magic of this life that we have been missing. It will open a window into the very heart of who we truly are, of who we came here to be, and gives us answers to our ever-asking why. Hello, my loves. Welcome to the show. So good to be here with you. I'm going to dive right in today. Deanna is here with us, and she is on the threshold of taking her business to the next level in the online world. And she's feeling challenged as technology is not her passion. So she's looking to see what is her path forward from this place. Not coincidentally, at the same time, she also has a new love interest that has shown up in her life, and she's concerned about getting distracted during this pivotal point in her career. So through this reading, we dive into the topics of trusting and leaning into divine support and being open to receive. So many of us are incredible at giving. And then when we are asked, how do we receive? We don't have a lot to say. So it's so important that we allow both of these beautiful parts of our existence to be present. We also look at being more available for joy and pleasure in our lives and how imperative this is on our path. And not just about being available for them, but really knowing that we are allowed to have them without working hard. We talk about the idea of how we need to find the time to do things versus prioritizing what's important. And just even in saying that, you can feel the frequency, you can feel the difference in those words. And we also dive into the difference between feminine creativity and masculine creativity, and the importance of understanding how both of them work and to bring them into our lives and to use them in the way they're intended. And then we round it out by looking at the importance of taking a break to fuel our creations, that this perpetual doing that we have gotten so caught in as a culture and a society is not sustainable and is not working for us. So, lots of great stuff today in this reading. Enjoy. Hi, Deanna. Welcome to the podcast. How can I help you today?
Hello, and thank you. It's wonderful to be here. I am embarking on a soul path that I feel like I've been on my whole life, but it's finally just kind of morphing into the outside world. And I'm being called to step up into a more public place. I'm basically a transformational coach. I help people find their own soul mission. And it's requiring me to learn a lot of technical stuff. I work online, and I'm finding challenges with changing my brain or learning all of these new ways to work online when really my passion is working in the intimate work with my clients and doing the healing work and the alchemy. So I guess part of my question is, how do I navigate that to the best of my ability? And is there maybe another way that I'm not seeing for this to move forward? I do feel a huge trajectory. Like, I think this next year is going to really blossom. And part of me is scared for that. Part of me is super excited for that. And as of right now, I'm also being challenged by a new man who's come into my life. And I'm wanting to not be distracted necessarily, wanting to be distracted and not wanting to be distracted, because I've been working for a very long time for this place in my career. And yet I don't want to say no to a little bit of bliss in that arena.
Thank you. So, as you were talking, I feel a sensation of a hand holding the back of my heart, like just supporting. And this is what I'm feeling you, right? You have this really beautiful energy behind you, supporting you. And what it's asking is that you lean into it. I get the sense that you are a lot about forward momentum. You're very creative. You are a go getter. But there's this sensation of always looking forward. And what your guides are asking is like, can you just lean back into the support for a minute and just really let yourself receive?
Mm. Mm.
What's coming up for you with that?
I'm not used to receiving. I'm used to giving. So I'm welcoming that. It's a very great reminder. I think there's a part of me that doesn't trust that.
hmm Yeah, I get that. We live in a world that tells us that we can't and shows us that we can't oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
What is standing out to me in that's threaded through is a lot about this receiving piece for you, right? You are at this launching point of something that you've been working for a long time. Not surprisingly, in this moment, you also have a new love interest in this moment when you are about to expand. Because when we expand in one area, we expand in all areas because this is the nature of the universe. This is the nature of our being. So it's not an accident that these things are happening together because there is this deep belief in you about you being allowed to receive.
Mm.
And even when you were talking about this person, there's this part of you that's it's exciting. You want to say yes, and yet you're maybe going to say no to something that will bring you so much joy, so much pleasure, someone else giving to you. And
Mm-hmm.
here you are, like, I don't know if I can say yes to that.
Right. It feels like an either or. It's
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah, right. Like, you can't have everything you want. Like, that's not okay. Like, I'm not allowed. That's the belief, right? What do you know about that belief?
Well, I feel like the belief that I have about work is that you don't get a reward unless you work really hard and focus and sacrifice. And I know that's bullshit, but I know that that is a belief a lot of us have. And I'm actually ready to bust through that one. So, this gentleman is not the person that I was trying to manifest, but he feels really good. He just doesn't, he can only give me so much. He's on a very huge career path as well. So, maybe the storyline is he doesn't actually have time for me, but when we're together, it's just really magic. So, maybe there's a part of me that thinks that it has to be bigger than it is. Like, why am I judging the little bit that comes that's just wonderful, you know?
Mm-hmm. And even there, right, in talking about him, you're already setting it up that he doesn't have a lot to give.
Right. Or not in the way that I want it.
Which do you know that's really the truth?
It sounds like it when he talks about his likes and dislikes and goals and what he's doing in his life right now. He literally doesn't have a lot of time for me, for any extracurricular. And I'm a little bit selfish. Like I want someone to have time for me. I give myself a lot of time.
Yeah, and the thing with time is, right, it's really not about time, it's about priorities. We prioritize the things that are important to us, and time isn't really a factor. We make time for the things that are important and that we want.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So there's a possibility in there, right? As exciting as this feels, that you have set up a situation that is going to perpetuate your belief about receiving.
Right. I can see how maybe I've brought in a man who I'm projecting onto him that he doesn't have time for me. And that could be because it's a habit, and or it could be that I'm nervous that I'll be distracted from my career path. And that's an easy sabotage, right? If he doesn't have time for me, then I can just go back to my career. But I play a lot with energy, and I like to see this. So thank you for bringing that up, because it's nice for me to see what can happen if I just change that dynamic a little bit in myself. And strangely enough, I also have a secondary man who's interested in me, that part of me is like, well, if this first guy's not going to work out, there's also this other guy. I mean, I feel like I'm in the candy store right now because I'm not used to having multiple choices there. And I'm really just about having fun right now. Even my business is about having fun. It is a lot of hard work, but I really do try to incorporate a lot of fun because I work too hard in my life. And I do believe that the heart space is so strong for creating.
Yeah. So you have these moving parts, right? And yet, what I'm seeing is really you at the center, right? You have your business, you have these relationships, possibilities of, and things are expanding, they're growing for you. You have more available to you. And what can happen in those places, right, is it really shines the light on the deep rooted wounding that we have. And for you, if we focus that on your business and what you were saying about this belief that you're ready to bust through, about how it has to be so hard and you have to put all your time and energy into it. And then I'm not sure if you've said it at the beginning, but we talked about it before we recorded, maybe about moving into the digital world and how you don't enjoy that piece. And I see that same pattern playing out here of not allowing yourself to receive support in the place that you don't like. So if you don't want to do that piece, find someone else to do it. You're here to play with energy, to be in the fun, to be in the creativity of your life. This is where we thrive. If you're sitting trying to figure out funnels and YouTube, and I'm not sure what digital you're working with, but that's not your zone of genius. And the more time you spend in that place, the less fun and therefore the less creative that you are. So there comes this point, right, where we have to trust in this support that it will be there for us when we really focus our attention on the things we love and we allow ourselves to receive support in the other ways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I do have a virtual assistant, and having her has been wonderful, although she's not quite as versatile in all the areas that I need. So I am definitely open to other team members. So thank you for saying that. And maybe I just need to see what happens if I try to open to receive more without being in the alpha doing, being in the female receiving end.
Yeah. So energetically, right? As women, we are designed to receive and run the sacred feminine, the divine feminine. And the way that she creates and moves is she comes up through our root chakra from the earth and she absorbs, she receives, is the way she creates. This is her model. This is what she does. The divine masculine receives and sends out. And this is the way that the divine masculine creates. What has happened to women is so many of us are wearing masculine power dynamics. So we are imitating the masculine way of creating. Bring in, shoot it out, giving, right? Away everything. But we're really designed to create as the feminine does, which is to receive. And we potentize everything within our womb, within our body, and then it flows out from us. But because we received first, and we have become really disconnected with this way of being because we are in this masculine world. And it's like, okay, if I've got to survive in this, then I've got to take on this masculine way of operating. But our bodies don't work that way. And that's why we are coming up against so many illnesses, so many places that we're disconnected from these amazing gifts we have, is because we're not running the feminine the way that we're intended.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How do you suggest that I manage a business and help it grow without being in the divine masculine?
Well, everything's a balance. Another team member is going to help you, right? Because you, as the leader of your business, you are not meant to also be the janitor and the superintendent and the accountant and all the different pieces. You hire out the things that are not your absolute specialty, especially if you can. I know some of us were not quite at that point yet. But if you have the resources and you believe in what you're doing, then you need support. You cannot do it all by yourself. And that's that leap, right? From the business at one level to taking the business to the next level is really being resourced. And then you work with the feminine. So the feminine does do, she doesn't not do, right? It's just a different way of operating. So focusing on working in your feminine, clearing up all the beliefs that are in the way of being able to access the feminine, the beliefs that keep you in the masculine. You even said yourself, right? It's just a belief that you have to run your business like working yourself to the bone. That's not actually the truth. We're fed that. We all believe that. Most of us are caught in that. But that's actually not how we create.
Mm-hmm. I can see how being with this gentleman is actually really opening my feminine. Like I just feel so beautiful and appreciated and desired, which is really fun. It's juicy. So I'm trying to utilize that energy, that juiciness, as I sit down and create when I'm even doing those things I don't like online. But being in that presence makes it have more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, right, it's not an accident that this is happening right now. Like something is here giving you access to the feminine because you need it.
Right, right. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that I do when I am bumping up against this belief of, oh gosh, yeah, I have to work harder. I got to create that one more program. When I get caught in that, I put everything down. And as hard as it is, I walk away for a while. It's the absolute thing that every single time stops the cycle for me and creates something new. But I have to put everything down and walk away. And oftentimes that's like get on an airplane and go somewhere for a week because I'm so caught in the cycle of doing that nothing is actually happening.
Ah, right.
Because I'm like swirling. But when I stop and I go nurture myself somewhere, get in the water, get on a surfboard, whatever the thing is I do, right? I reconnect and I come back and everything makes sense. A lot of new things happen that I couldn't see before because I was swirling so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that because the only way I've been able to do this is to get up and I can only work for about 2 hours at a time. And I take like 2 walks a day. I go out in nature and walk to just be back in that balance. And there's a part of me, a little tiny voice in me that's like, what are you doing? You're just playing too much. You're not working. But it's like at the same time, this is the only way I can do it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And those thoughts, right? What are you doing? You need to work. You can't play like this. Don't have fun. That's not you.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm,
a collective thought pattern that we are all caught in.
mm-hmm,
And it feels so real. Yet the depersonalization of that consciousness makes massive changes as well.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And it brings me back to trust. I have to just trust that what I'm doing is at the pace that I'm doing it is all good.
Mhm. When more of you is available to receive divine guidance and more of you is available to support your clients, your life will flourish a lot more than when you are spread so thin that there's no space for God, right? When we're spread so thin.
Yeah. And I feel like, opening up more to source is imperative for what I do and how I work in the world with this work that I do. And so maybe it's all perfect divine timing and divine, the fact that this guy showed up and I actually am launching something really big this month. And so it's good for me to look at this from the bird's eye view rather than being like the critical one who says, "What are you doing? What's going on? You're not following the plan." Because like maybe there's not a plan. Maybe it's not my plan. But I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you just got all this energy, creative energy that was awakened within you
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't have before this guy came along.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours, right? But it was within you and now it's awakened and now you get to use it for whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Look out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, how can I support you from here?
Hmm. I don't know. Do you have any messages from my higher self? Is there something that wants to come through?
Let me just tap into that for you. Do you have a cat?
No. I have a neighbor cat.
Right. So the image is you and this cat, and you're just sitting there petting the cat. And the cat is nuzzling and she's just really enjoying the attention. And there's a wisdom to be found in just sitting and petting the cat, like watching how the cat receives
Mm.
without giving anything back, right? Cats don't give a lot, they just receive. And it's like she has a message, or he, I feel like it's a she, I don't know. She has a message for you and wants you to just luxuriate and just pet her.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's see what else, if there's anything else. Yeah, let love in, right? Even as you're petting the cat, as you're here on this new relationship, even if you don't know where it's going and it doesn't go anywhere, right? It's this idea of letting yourself be loved.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and as you were talking about the cat, I was actually really, I'm a Leo too, by the way. So
Mm.
I was like envisioning me just letting, these guys give me attention. There doesn't have to be an agenda or anything. It's just like receive the attention because it's there and they're probably really glad to give in that way. So who am I to stop it? Who am I to say, no, it can't happen like that? Or at the same time, I'm not talking about having two different relationships. It's really just kind of flirting right now, but just letting myself receive and be the cat. I get to be the cat, that's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you're taking me back to that hand at the back of your heart and wondering if it feels any easier to lean into that after our conversation.
Hmm. Well, my heart is really big and happy. I think the judgment has softened about leaning back into that. I can see the hand there, and I feel like I want to tap into it regularly, like sort of as a mantra or a ritual every day. It's like just let myself lean back into that and go, yeah, okay, spirit's got my back.
Mhm.
And I'm not alone. And I don't have to do this alone. I'm not doing this alone. And I'm open to unexpected surprises. So it
I love it. Hmm. Does this feel like an okay place to land today?
does. Thank you.